Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 2 of my model series. So today we are going to be talking about building your portfolio. Now, for those of you who don't know, a portfolio is essentially a book that shows all of the photo shoots that you've done over however span of time. And so we just talked about defining your look, and now we're going into the actual building of the portfolio. There's so many things that go into building your portfolio. For one, if you meet a photographer and he says, hey, or if let's say he DM'd you, hey, I love your look, would love to shoot with you sometime, that is fantastic. And if you reach out to another photographer and say, hey, I love your work, would love to collab sometime, that is great. But if you are reaching out to a photographer, always remember that you are asking for their time. You are asking for them to spend time on you. So when you're reaching out to photographers to, help create images for your book, always remember to be polite, be well-mannered, don't act privileged and snobby. I've seen it so many times, and I've also heard crazy stories from some of my photographer friends about how women will message them like the wildest stuff, like
you need to work with me,
or
why wouldn't you want to work with me?
Like, no, you need to be humble, especially if you're starting out. There's no cockiness in this whatsoever. Be humble, be respectful, ask them, hi, I love your work. Always credit their work. Don't just say, hey, let's work sometime. No, that's not how we do it. That is not how you're gonna build your portfolio, and that's not how you're gonna get work done for free. Because remember, this is expensive. So for them to work with you for free is just that much more significant. So always be polite. And this is something that I would recommend saying or writing to a photographer that you potentially would like to work with. Hi, my name is so-and-so. I love your work. And maybe even if you wanted to go further, you could say, especially the one you did with so-and-so where she's wearing blah. Are you open to collaborating? And if so, please let me know your schedule. Hope to hear from you soon. Keep it like that. It doesn't even have to be that lengthy. It could be, hey, I love your work. I would love to collab sometime. Please let me know if you're interested. Hope you have a great day. Boom, perfect. But the cockiness, the overconfidence, leave it at the door. You need to be polite. People, are busy, especially if it's a photographer who's very well known or is very established. You have to be respectful because one, that's how you build your reputation in the industry. The industry is very small. It's huge, but it's very small, and word travels fast. And it's also how you're more likely to collab with them. Secondly, if a photographer reaches out to you to collab, there's a few things to take in mind. First, look at his portfolio. Look at his Instagram, his website, do your Google research, always do your research. But the first thing I always do is look at their Instagram. What do you see? Are all of the models he or she has shot with naked or half naked or in bikinis? Are you comfortable with that? If so, go ahead and shoot for it. If not, reconsider working or collaborating with them. Also, when is the most recent time they've done a photo shoot? If it was 3 years ago and they haven't posted since, I would be just a little hesitant because maybe there could be a variety of things as to why they haven't shared publicly any of their newest photo shoots. And then also, I personally, as a person who does photography as a hobby on the side, you sort of lose your skill when it's a long period of time. So maybe they don't have the greatest editing skills after 3 years of not working, or maybe their camera is broken, or they're trying a new camera and they haven't worked with that, and you're going to be the test dummy. I would say to always just be hesitant. Make sure. I personally would like to work with someone who is current, working consistently, or at least attempting to, and has work that I would see fitting my own portfolio. And when you have your portfolio, you essentially want to have the following things. You want to have a beauty shoot. You want to have a swimsuit shoot if that's what you're going for. You want to have an athletic shoot if that's what you're going for. And then I would say you would want to have some type of very simplistic, nothing wild shoot. I'm sure a lot of you have seen women in a white tank top and jeans, you know, just being all casual. I'm sure you've seen women just, you know, in like a leather jacket or whatever, and like keeping it very simple with a white background. Always have something simple, because remember, when you're submitting yourself to agencies, they're going to see how diverse you can be, as well as how, I don't know how the better way to put this, but they want to see your best mannequin self. I don't know how to put that, but like they want to make sure that you can fit any category or as many categories as possible. So just always keep that in mind. Also, one very, 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 very key thing, look at how they edit the skin. Look at how they edit and, you know, the post-production, the final finish on the model. Does the image look like he face-tuned it, or does it look like he actually did it professionally in Adobe Photoshop or something else that's very detailed and requires high skill? You don't want low quality images. And also, if you maybe suffer from bad skin, or you really prefer someone who knows how to retouch, make sure he knows how to retouch. I've worked with photographers where they literally will take pictures of me and the pictures are great, but all they do will either make it black and white or maybe add a little color grading to it, but they don't touch up the skin. And it's like, wow, well, I have this giant pimple on my cheek. I would love to get rid of that. If you can't do it yourself in Photoshop, not Facetune, Photoshop, make sure that you are working with a photographer who has great retouch skills. Time and time again, I've seen models doing, you know, these fantastic shoots, but then when you look at the images, it's like, why is your face blurred? Like, everything's blurred but the eyes. Like, that's not good quality. It's wasting your time, and it's wasting the agent's time, because the agent doesn't want to see that. So just make sure you're keeping some of those things in mind. So also, please keep in mind that when you're building your portfolio, I would say you should have, I want to say 8 to 10 images is like a solid number, and that would be at least 2 images from each photo shoot. Now, when you get a photo shoot, typically speaking, when you shoot with a photographer, typically speaking, they'll send you all of the images they took, and then they'll tell you, hey, for the package that you purchased, or even if it's a collaboration, hey, just to let you know, you can choose 6 images. I'll professionally edit those 6, and you can keep all the raw images for yourself. Each photographer does it a little differently, but I would say choose the best, or choose your favorite 6 images that really show either your body well or your face well, or both if you have enough, you know, to select from. Some photographers I know, they'll only allow you to choose 3 images, so that really limits, you know, your flexibility in choosing the ones that you really liked. But I will always say to make sure you choose one that has like your face focused as well as your full body focused, if that's what you did in the photo shoot. And then from there, pick any 2 of those ones that look different though. So if you, let's say you had the chance to pick 4 images, and then you have one that's a face up here, like top quarter, from head to your knees, and then one full body, I would say go with like the best. But if you can, get one that's like focused on your face, and then focus on one that is full body. And that way you have 2 images in your portfolio. That photo shoot is said and done. Boom, now we can move to the next photo shoot. And you can actually do different looks with the same photographer. So if a photographer is saying, hey, we can do 3 different looks, boom, that's like 6 images. If you choose 2 for each, if they allow you to choose 2 professionally done images for each of those looks, then you already have 6 images in your portfolio already. But just always remember to keep in mind, when a photographer like that is providing you with that amount of selection and opportunity, always make sure the photographer is good, because you don't want to spend the entire day shooting with all these looks that you loved, and then the final product is a blurry photo. You don't want that. So just always keep that in mind when you're doing your research and asking for collaborations or being reached out to. Once you have a solid set portfolio, I think you're pretty much good to go. Just make sure that, like I said before, it's very versatile. You're showing your face, showing how beautiful you can be, showing, if you can bring a makeup artist to your photo shoots to professionally do your makeup on it. If you don't do it well yourself, If you don't do it well yourself, I would highly recommend investing in a makeup artist who can accompany you on your photo shoot. Now, if you can do your makeup very well yourself, I can. So a lot of times when I do collaborations, I'll just do my makeup myself. But if you can't, that is okay. Ask if you have a makeup friend, ask them if they would like to help you. If not, then you will have to pay a bit to have a makeup artist do your money. But again, remember, all of this money is an investment, and you will eventually get your return when you get signed and start working, or if you don't want to get signed, when you start working and applying directly to clients yourself, whatever have you. Always remember that, because the last thing you want is to have a photo shoot where you did the makeup yourself, you have a cat liner, cat wing, you got the cat eye, and one's up here, one's down there, and then the photographer does not retouch. So now you got crooked cat eyes in your portfolio. You don't want that. Like, just try to keep all the hiccups out of it. If you can't do your makeup yourself, hire someone to do it. If you can find photographers who are willing to collab with you for free, do it, but always make sure their quality is great. And then also, if and when you reach out to a photographer and you ask for their rates and they tell you, that'll tell you that'll sort of give you a gist of how experienced they are. And if the cost adds up to what they're providing, that should really set the tone for their knowledge and their skill. And let me actually break that down a little bit more. A couple of months ago, I reached out to a very well-known photographer. He's done incredible work with a few of friends of mine, and so I really wanted to work with him because I thought that the looks he provided were fantastic. The quality was phenomenal, and that the images that he provided, if I did it myself, if I were to work with him, I knew that it would be perfect for my book. So I reached out to him. I actually emailed him, and I emailed a few of them, and I said, hi, as I told you before, hi, my name is so-and-so. I saw that you worked with my friend. I love the images so much. I think they're beautiful. I see that you live in the New York City area. I plan to be there next month. Do you happen to have any availability, and would you like to work together? And please let me know your rates. Always say that. Please let me know your rates. It's not for free if you're reaching out to them, especially if they have a really nice portfolio. When I say portfolio in this way, I mean they've worked with a lot of names, name brands, name people. Like if they have been established, always ask for their rates, because they're likely, very, very little likely, going to work with you for free. So get that out of your head. So if you're working with a dude or woman who is very experienced, you reach out, you ask for the rates, and they respond to you with their rates. Now, typically speaking, on average, a photographer will charge you around $250 to $300, and that could range anywhere from 1 to 2 looks, and they will likely allow you to edit. They will allow you to choose up to 5 or 6 images to edit. Again, it depends on the photographer, but that's usually the frame. Now, with the photographer I reached out to, because he was so well known and established, and because a lot of the stuff he provides, like he provides the clothing, he provides the makeup artist, like he provides a lot of stuff, he actually charged $800. And I already had expected, I was actually estimating around $600, but I was like, okay, $800. I think that is actually pretty, that sounds like a good number based off of his work, who he's worked with, what he provides to you. If he provides you hair and makeup and clothing, and then the lighting and on the studio, and all you have to do is show up with good skin, like, you're good. So I think that $600 to $800 for someone of that caliber is actually expected. If you cannot afford that, that is perfectly okay. That's why we reach out to people. That's why we ask, are you willing to collaborate? That's why we ask, hey, what are your rates? If their rates are $100, that's perfect. And you can afford that, perfect. I would say that starting out, especially if you're having a hard time finding anyone who can work with you for free, $100 to $150 it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. if they do even cheaper, it makes a lot of sense. However, remember, always check their quality, always do their research, and even if you want to go as far as, let's say, if you happen to be doing a semi-nude or a bikini or a lingerie shoot, I would also ask some of the previous models who you've seen them work with, ask the models how their experience was with that photographer, just to cover your bases, make sure you're comfortable as possible. And then also in situations where it is lingerie or a swimsuit or something where you're a little more revealed, if you can bring a friend, if you want to bring a friend to make you feel more comfortable, I would say do that. That does not mean bring your boyfriend. That does not mean bring your girlfriend. That means bring a friend. You don't need any drama with, especially if your boyfriend or girlfriend is overprotective or like not supportive of you and causing drama on set. No one needs that. And honestly, you probably will never hear from that photographer ever again. Bring a friend. A friend. That is it. But always be smart about it. And I think that's everything that I have to cover about building your portfolio. Be versatile, do your research, be well-mannered, know the rates, make sure the quality is good, and make sure that your book is very well-rounded. I think that's it. I don't know. But yeah, oh, and sorry, one more thing. When you receive your images and they're retouched, and you post them on Instagram, I know a lot of photographers hate it when you Facetune on top of what they just worked on and then post it on your Instagram. They really do not like that. Now I understand if he did not Photoshop the pimple, or if he didn't even Photoshop anything of your images whatsoever, that's fine. Clearly he's like, hey, do what you need. But if this man or woman just worked 6 hours editing a photo, mind you, it takes so much time to edit photos. Trust me, I know, I'm learning right now, and it's such a long process. It literally took me 8 hours to edit one beauty shot. It's a process. So it's very much a slap in the face when you Facetune your nose to be like this, Facetune your eyes to be bigger, slim your chin. Like, don't. Now I understand if you have like a color scheme going on with your Instagram, I think that's perfectly fine if you need to switch the colors up a little bit, but like doing like crazy editing to the face, don't do that, because the photographer, they do see it. Don't think they won't, they do see it, they take offense to it, and that makes them less likely to want to work with you again. So just always keep that in mind too. Because at the end of the day, when you are working with new photographers or photographers you've worked with in the past, you're relationship building. And again, word travels fast. Everyone knows someone, and if you make a bad name for yourself, people will know about it. So just always, present your best self and be polite. And if there's something that you did want tweaked that they didn't, you can just ask. That's about it. But okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and the next video we're going to be talking about is how to take your digitals. That should be a fun one. So if you liked all this information, thank you for watching, and click on the next video to see how to take your own digitals.